Good afternoon. In the most dramatic chapter of the entire Torah, and perhaps the whole Jewish Bible, at its most dramatic moment, when Joseph says those fateful words, Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. Ha'oida v'chai, is my father still alive? At that moment it says, V'lo yuchlu echov l'daber itoi, ki nivhalu miponov. His brothers could not speak with him, for they were frightened from before him. And people ordinarily would interpret this, that they were physically frightened and intimidated. Joseph was the viceroy of Egypt. He had all of these men with these big, sharp swords all around him. And this was quite an intimidating sight for them. And that's why they were frightened. But that's not what it means. Because then it would have said, Ki nivhalu mimenu. They were frightened from him. But it says, Nivhalu mipanav, from before him. The Torah is very exact and specific. When the Torah says a word in a different context, the different subtlety, then there's a whole range of experience that wishes to be expressed right here. Ki nivhalu miponov, from seeing his face, they were frightened. They saw how he reacted to them when he had the power to make hash out of their bodies. He still gave them the love and the honor accorded to a brother. When he fell into their hands, they wanted to kill him, and begrudgingly they gave him up to the Ishmaelites to sell as a slave, like a piece of meat, in a forbidding type of climate, in a distant and unforgiving land. They wanted to be rid of him, but they didn't want the death to be by their hands, and so they sold him, knowing full well that the life expectancy of a slave was minuscule compared to that of a free man. When they had him in their hands, they had no mercy, no regrets, and he showed them constraint, mercy, and even love. That's why they were frightened in comparing their own actions and character compared to Joseph's at this time. That is the comparative or the spatial approach. Deeper on a deeper level, and a more profound level, understanding what took place, they were astounded by how he had orchestrated this event. For you see, they hated him because he was the favorite of their beloved father. Father singled him out, made him better than them, never complimented them, only him, gave him the coat of many colors, put him in charge. It was constantly being driven into their face and to their hearts like daggers. He was the top. He was the beloved one. He was the favorite. And he helped it along. And his behavior, they believed, was less than stellar. Kept on bickering with them, trying to find fault with them. They saw this as a flaw of character. fatal law of character, even while he wanted to be the favorite and the chief. And as a result of that, they got rid of him. Benjamin was also father's favorite, and Joseph rubbed it in their faces. 10 brothers are being sent into a dangerous and forbidding land in order to purchase the staples of survival. And Benjamin stays home with Dad, doing nothing and enjoying the fruits of their labors. Why is Benjamin more beloved than them in entirety? More beloved than their children, his grandchildren? It's just not fair. And now, to top it off, Benjamin had been forced to come, and now Benjamin was caught red-handed, stealing the favorite cup of the viceroy. They easily could have said, look at this favorite of our father's. His mother was also a thief. She stole the gods of her father. Couldn't keep her hands off things that didn't belong to her. And now so Benjamin does the same. Just couldn't keep his hands off of that silver cup. They could have said that easily and say, to heck with him. Just let him suffer. So the whole range of emotion, the whole jealousy, the whole capacity for them to excuse themselves was reconstructed in its entirety by Joseph. Why did he do that? Let me share something with you. There are people who have changes of heart. For 60, 70 years they conduct their lives in a certain way. And then when they turn 70 and they've got one foot out the door, they decide, all of this has meant nothing. I'd better shore up my actions before I get where I'm going. That's not a complete tshuva. That's not a complete return. It's not a complete return because you've only done so because you realize life is almost ended and you didn't gain anything from your sin. A true tshuva, true return to God, is when you sinned. Let's say you sinned with a woman, and now you find her again years later, the same place. Nobody's looking, no one except for God, and you still love her, and you say goodbye to her because of your love of God, nothing else. This is the true Baal Tshuva when he's tested with the same circumstance. And even with the same circumstance, the same capacity, he says no. The brothers had the same capacity to reject Benjamin as they had rejected Joseph before. They had every right to do so. They had every emotional reason and need to do so. Yet they stood firm in their resolve to save him. That is a true tshuva, true reconstruction of the soul. And that's what Joseph caused for them. And that's what they were astounded by, that he could actually reconstruct the scenario so that they could have a true change of heart.